Hijab rebellion, how a few women got Turkish Airlines shut down in Iran. In a bold act of defiance against Iran's mandatory hijab laws, female employees at the Turkish Airlines Tehran office refused to wear headscarves, leading to a dramatic confrontation with Iranian police and subsequent closure of the office. The incident, reported by the semi official Tasnim news agency, occurred on July 8th when police arrived to issue a warning for the non observance of hijab. The situation escalated when the employees reportedly, quote, made trouble for the police officers, resulting in the entire office being sealed. They went and sealed off the office of Turkish Airlines. This act of rebellion coincided with the election of quote unquote reformist President elect Masoud Pezeshkian, who has promised to ease hijab enforcement, a contentious issue since the death of Mahsa Amini in 2022. The closure of the popular airlines office highlights the ongoing tension between Iran's strict religious laws and growing calls for personal freedom, with one official stating, quote, that the police would not close any business due to the non-observance of hijab, but issue first warnings. This incident underscores the complex relationship between Iran's domestic policies and its international business ties, particularly with Turkey, who is a key trade partner and a tourist destination for Iranians. So, again, this happened in Tehran in the offices of Turkish Airlines. And what happened is basically the women working in this office, who are themselves Iranian nationals, were refusing to comply with hijab observance in the office. And this follows a long pattern that's been occurring for years now, especially after the hijab and chastity push under Ibrahim Raisi, of cracking down on businesses that basically don't push the hijab on their own employees. There's so many examples of businesses that have been shut down and punished and fined by the government for, you know, not making their female employees wear the hijab and kind of just letting them do what they want. And then the government comes after them. Um, so Armin, I would love your reaction. And then I would also love your reaction on people talking about Pezeshkian being such a he's not that hard on hijab. Psh, what?
Well, did you? Well, first of all, have you heard about the conspiracy theories behind this news?
No.
No. Oh, so did you mention, because I was verifying something when you were giving the news? Did you mention Pezeshkian being a Turk himself?
No.
Did, oh, so did you know Pezeshkian is Turkish? He's half Turk, half
No.
Kurd. Okay, so that is relevant to this news.
Oh,
So
let's
the new
break it
president.
down.
So the new president of Iran, which people for some reason are calling a reformer. He's more hardliner than hardliners, but people are calling him a reformer for some reason. But he, the traditional, the people who are labeled as hardliners in Iran are very angry that he became the president. Okay, and so when he not only is he Turkish, he is also very, his language is very tribal, pro-Turk, right? And some of these things he says is kind of the kind of language used by some, maybe even close to separatists sometimes, right? Some a little bit close, right?
Ooh.
But not that he said anything in that line. But I'm just saying that the people who are tribal, Turkish tribal in Iran, he says things that are close to those, right? But he also, as soon as he became president, there seemed to be some love affair between him and Turkey, right? You know, message, there seems to be, like, given that he is a Turk himself, and immediately this happens. And some people are saying that this was no accident. Right when we have a Turkish president in Iran, why would the hijab enforcers go and shut down Turkish Airlines in Iran? And the idea, even before him becoming a president, is that hardliners in Iran, they try to always create stumbling blocks, like get in the way, create cause hassle and problem for the presidents that are reformers, right? And this was
Mm.
seen as a message from the hardliners to the newly elected Turkish president that we're here, we're gonna fuck you up if you don't watch yourself, right? So, I mean, no, seriously, like, because Jalili, the second runner-up, which is the hardline, one of the most hardliner per people in Iran. He's called Taliban by people in Iran. Like, he's extreme. These are the Jalili people, which were the main competitor to Pezeshkian, which is now the new president in Iran. He's part of this group called Jabhat Paidari, and they follow a mullah that is even more extreme than Khamenei. So right now they're being accused of being a shadow government in Iran, against not just the president, but maybe even against Khamenei himself as well, right? Because they're more hardline than Khamenei himself, right? And these people are anti-woman being educated, anti-woman even being coming out. They're anti-Western technology. They're very, very extreme. But that Jalili guy, right after Pezeshkian's election, he came out and said, "Don't think we're going to go anywhere. We're here. If the government does anything that is not correct, we're here to correct it." And people are like, "Correct it how?" Right? And they labeled themselves as shadow government, which is insane, because a shadow government is something that you have in the UK, when you actually have a party that is an opposition party that is trying to hold the main government in power responsible. But in Iran, we don't have parties. I don't know if you know that. Like, we have one party. The party that we have in Iran is called the Islamic Republic. So a lot of people don't know that after the Islamic Revolution, there was a party called the Islamic Republic of Iran, and they changed the name of the country to the name of that party. So the whole country is just one party. So we don't have different parties in Iran. It's just one party, right? Single party. But he still calls himself the shadow government, as if, even though it's not defined anywhere within Iranian laws for you to have a shadow government against the government power. That's just the title that he just chose upon for himself, for what they're doing. So they're supposed to, and this is what they do. This is now I mean, I don't know if this is conspiracy theory is correct or not, but this and some other things they have done shows that they have started. Some people say this shows that they already got started. However, Pezeshkian himself is now doing things that a lot of hardliners are now being convinced that they don't need to do this thing, because they were like, "Oh, he is a hardliner. We were wrong to oppose him." Just before this show, just before we went live, I was watching a video from this Ahund, from this mullah in Iran, apologizing to Pezeshkian for for taking a position against him, because even within the first week after his election, all his positions shows that he was right. He is a revolution. He is a hardliner. He was like,
Mm.
I apologize for taking such hard position against you. You is correct. You are not a reformer. You're one of us. So basically everything that we were saying. So within days after Pezeshkian came to power, right? So we now have his first act was to take a hard position against Israel, and support Hezbollah, come out and support Hezbollah in their goal to destroy Israel, right? He also came out and confirmed that when he's talking about foreign relationships, he's going to focus, just like Khamenei, on Russia and China and South American countries, and he condemned Western European countries and North American countries. So basically, everything. Again, I'm not saying things are not going to change. If things change, it's going to be because Khamenei is going to retreat. It's not going to be because Pezeshkian promised that everything he does is going to be in line with the commands coming from Khamenei. So anything that if they retreat, if they reduce if they go easy on people, it's not because there's a reformist president in Iran. It's because Khamenei is scared of the people, and the people have managed to pressure him enough for him to retreat. Some it's the decisions do not come from the president; they come from the office of the supreme leader, and the president has confirmed that everything he does is going to be in line with him. Oh, thank you, Marina.
Yeah. So let's just be clear. When Western media is calling this guy a reformist, it's
It
a
makes
lie.
no
He's
sense.
not. It's all a lie.
Actually, let me tell you something interesting. Guys, what I'm about to tell you should use that everywhere. If you understand what I'm about to tell you, you understand Iranian politics more than most people, okay? The people, so we have Iranian politics, people that says there's reformers, and then they're conservatives. The conservatives, the hardliners are called the conservatives. If you actually look at the Iranian politics, the people who have been labeled as reformers, they are actually the conservatives, and the people who are labeled as hardliners, they are actually the reformists. In what sense? In the sense that the people who are called the reformers, they are the main defenders of the Islamic Republic of Iran. They are the force that is conserving the status quo. The hardliners are not conserving the status quo. It's the reformists that are trying to save. They are the last line. They say this themselves to the hardliners, that we are the last line between the regime and its collapse. We are the final line. We are the thin line that is holding all of this together. So they are the reformers are actually the conservatives because they're conserving the status quo. However, the hardliners, they are the actual reformists because they are the ones who want to reform the Islamic Republic to not being a republic. I mean, it's not a republic. It technically acts like it's a republic. It's Islamic, but not a republic. All of the parts of the Iranian government that acts like it's being a republic is just for show. However, they don't even like that show, right? They want to make it fully Islamic, so they are the ones who are trying to reform the regime to actually be its true self and do away with all of this um, democratic, show pretense that it has going on right here. Again, but the more hardliner you get, the more you see that these people are looking for reform. They do not think that the Islamic Republic is properly Islamic right now. So, yes, yeah.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Is Pezeshkian actually Turkish? Or is
Half Turk, half Kurd, mostly Turk.
because it's saying that he's Azari.
Azeri is what you call Turks in Iran because some people are so anti-Turk that they do not want to accept that we have Turks in Iran, so they call them Azeri instead. So in the same way that some people are anti-Arab, so they refuse to accept that we have Iranian Arabs, some people also want to refuse the idea of us having Iranian Turks. So they call them Azeri instead of Turk to deny their Turkish identity.
I feel like Turkic is more appropriate because I personally
Oh,
know like Azari Iranians, and they're like the language is different. It's a different language. It's different
so is with the
culture.
Arabs. Yeah, but so is with the Arabs. So is with the Turks outside of Iran. So is with the Kurds. We have Kurdish people. I saw a video of three Kurdish women that were forced to speak with each other in Persian because none of them could understand the other woman's Kurdish dialect. Not
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
they were recording. So like this woman is talking Kurdish. I have the other two wouldn't understand what she's saying. This woman was speaking Kurdish. The other two wouldn't understand what she's saying. This woman was speaking Kurdish. The other two wouldn't understand. They had to speak Persian because they could not understand each other. Their dialects were that different. So that's the truth. It's it's the same thing with Turks and the same thing with Kurds. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's being Azari in Azerbaijan, like it is a distinct
They're Turk. Yes,
identity. Like
Yes,
Turkmen
but
is
they
its
are
own
Turks.
identity. Uyghur is an own identity, but they are Turkic.
But they're Turks. They're different versions of Turks. If the Azeris in Iran are not Turks, then what about the Azeris of what about people of Azerbaijan, the country? Are they not
Mhm.
Turks? They're Turks. Are we gonna because they're Azeri? Are we not gonna call them Turks? They themselves call themselves Turks. The whole idea of being united with Turkey is because they're both Turks. If
Yeah,
we're going to
no,
call the Azeris of Azerbaijan in the province of Azerbaijan in Iran, are we not going to call them Turks? So we are the Azerbaijan, the country. Are they not Turks either?
no, I'm
Obviously,
just
they're
saying that
Turks.
there's a difference between Turk and Turkic.
No, they're full on Turks. They're like different versions of being Turk.
Okay.
This is an ethnic. This is an ethnic identity that people. I mean, here, let me be clear. I hate ethnic identities. I think they're useless. Okay, but while we have them, I mean, I hope we won't go to a world that we can deny, like we could not have any ethnic identities, right? But when we certain types of positions are against an ethnic identity because there's some bigotry going on. So, for example,
Yeah.
I don't like Persian identity or Jewish identity. I like Iranian identity and Israeli identity, for example, right? But I am forced to take the Jewish identity seriously because so many people are anti Jewish. And
Yeah.
we need to take that identity seriously because we need to protect the people who are labeled as Jew, right? For example, right? In the same way, the Turkish identity needs to be taken seriously because if you have the narrative that these people are not actually Turks, they're Azeris, is because of an anti-Turkish sentiment that exists in the country. That's why I need to take that seriously. Like, okay, no, if somebody, because here's the thing: Iranians in Azerbaijan, most of them, they call themselves Turks. Some Iranian, Turkish national, who are some maybe your friend who was like from Azerbaijan, maybe because he's like such a nationalist and he wants to also dismiss this um, ethnic identity. Maybe he wants to lean into Azeri because Azeri also is a word that goes to Zoroastrianism and stuff like that. So it has like
Hmm.
Persian roots. So maybe they want to use that word instead to make it more Iranian rather than Turkey, which is another country, to make it more. But again, that's not. I I understand why they're doing that, and I admire the fact that they want to maybe like reduce how important ethnic identities are. But you can't do that by denying the existence of a ethnic identity. You could just make it less important. Anyways, I'm
Mhm.
getting into too much detail.
No, no, just an interesting thing to talk about because I was like, oh, that's kind of different than my experience. Granted, completely anecdotal, but
Right.
that's why I wanted to ask. Um, okay, so let's go to the last. Wait, do we have any super chats? Oh, shoot, we do. Okay.
Thank you guys. Wow, we have
uh,
so many super
so
chats.
many super chats. Tyler just gave a super chat saying, Mwah. Oh, well, thank you, Tyler. Thank you for the kisses. Uh, um, Sid Dave gave a super chat saying, Armin, do Iranian people have a national memory of their pre Islamic past? Do they? They were always a
What are you
major
talking about?
superpower or influential civilization. Literally, I've seen Iranian
Are you
dudes walking around with Cyrus the Great tatted on their shoulders, freaking cuneiform all over their body.
Sid? What do you mean? Do they have a memory? They cannot stop. They cannot remember anything but that. They're obsessed with that. What are you talking about? This is their major weapon against Islam. It's their major the entire national identity is built based on on that memory. It's the greatest obsession. It's the greatest shared obsession of Iranian people. Yeah. Yes. So yes, the
Uh,
answer is yes. Yeah, the answer is to say yes is an understatement. Yes, go for it.
John Bundak gave a super chat saying, I hate reformer Western media framing of the Islamic Republic. Rouhani too was useful. Rouhani too, useful idiocy boogaloo. Exactly. It's a totalitarian theocracy for fuck's sake. Yep. It's all just window dressing. Sid Dave gave another super chat saying, Armin, what do you think of the 300 movie and how Iranians were represented in that movie? Always found it funny, especially when I saw a black Persian. There's tons of black Persians. What are you talking about?
No, okay, no, but
Go look at Bandar Abbas.
not the Xerxes himself.
Yeah.
Okay, so to be fair, Iranians, many Iranians don't know that we have black Iranians, to be honest. And unfortunately, there is colorism in Iran, is widespread. So Iranians do not. However, to be fair, this movie was extremely inaccurate and it offended many, many Iranians. Iranians, I mean, let me show you what Xerxes was supposed to look like. Okay. So maybe I should. So, okay, let me bring this image. So this is how Xerxes was depicted in the movie 300, right? But let me actually go and find how Xerxes is supposed to.
He had fantastic eyeliner, though, honey.
So,
maybe not accurate, but the style was stunning.
So he was not black. Not that there's, you know, a lot of people were offended that he was depicted as black, but it's not historically. This is how he actually was always depicted everywhere, right? So for example, yeah. So actually copy image address. So this is how it's supposed to be. So show me the resemblance between this and what the hell, like what is this? Like he's bald, he's naked, he's black, he has rings all over his body, and this is the actual what they actually look like. Like they were very covered, full of hair, big beard, not black. So I don't
Wait,
understand.
why are
And yeah,
people saying that he was portrayed as black? The actor that played him was Brazilian, like a white Brazilian.
well, dark skin. Well, no, dark skinned. He's black. He's dark skinned.
I think that was just the coloring, like
Yeah,
the color
well,
correction of that
even if the
movie.
actor, yeah, but yeah, the coloring they made him. Even if the actor is not black, they made him black for that movie, for some reason. They made him black for the movie for some. I don't know why. I don't understand. Like, did the people who made the movie like were they racist? And they made him like the values that was even if you think he was evil, they were not hedonistic. Like maybe
Yeah.
like if you want to make him look evil, like make him evil that is somewhat like a I don't know, like a fascist or something. I mean, that would still be inaccurate, but at least you would have it would be more difficult because there's nothing both in his looks, his behavior, and their values was completely different from what they represented. It just seemed like the movie seemed to try to just use the Persian Empire back then as a demonstration of, I don't know, illegal immigrants or degenerate, barbaric ideologies coming for the West. I don't know the people who were making that movie. Why was that? Why did they make the Persians look like that? Because the Persians did not have those values at that time, and they did not remotely close like that. And unfortunately, it fed into. It works very well for the Islamic Republic of Iran because the Islamic Republic of Iran wanted to show that Westerners are against Iran as a whole, not just the Islamic Republic. Like they're against you and your culture. They're like, oh, Iranian people, don't think that these Westerners are against us as the government. They're against you. They're against the people and Iranian culture. Look at this movie. Look at what they're doing to your heritage. You think we're against your heritage? They're against your heritage, right? Look at how they're insulting you. You know, the West is against. And again, back then it worked. Back then, a lot of Iranians are like, "Oh my God, look what the movies that they're making, the way that they're trying to depict Iranians." However, what I try to say regarding the movie 300 to Iranians in my show is that this is just one movie. This is not the position of the United States about Iranian people. And again, the people who made that movie, they had like really weird beliefs. And this is like, it's not like in Iran where movies are made based on government orders on what values. It's not like United States. It's not like this movie does not reflect the position of the government of the United States or the people of the United States. It's just one movie. So that's what you have to explain to.
It's not even based on history. It's based on a comic book.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what the agenda was there to make that movie. It's weird, very weird.
Yeah. Anyways, do you mind answering these questions while the next super chats while I take a quick bathroom break?
Yes. I mean, I don't mind. All right, put me in. Okay, cool. All right, let me go to this one. David is saying, what happened to the Mongols who conquered and ruled Iran? Did they simply mix up, I think, with the local Iranians and cease to exist as an ethnic group in Iran? Yep, they just got mixed in, you know. So some Iranians brag about this, saying that look how advanced Persian culture is. That is just the people who conquer Persians every time in history. The Persian culture is so strong that the invadee becomes the invader by just making them. It's a silent takeover. Like they come and they invade you, but your culture is the Persian culture is so superior to their culture that instead of them dominating you with their way of life and their culture, they change their ways and their practices to yours, and they get mixed to you until they completely disappear. And they see this as a sign of this as a. So they say this. Iranians say that they did this with the Mongols, with the Greeks, and with Arabs. So if you look at, for example, when the Greeks they invaded Alexander the Great, managed to his empire and the eventual Roman Empire Hellenized many different lands, many different places, but the Persian culture remained Persian because it was just so strong. Other places they became like Greek, their culture, but Iran did. I mean, I'm not saying that's accurate because technically even Iran's culture changed because of Hellenization, but they say like the Persian culture and the Persian identity, they say resisted the Arab invasion, the Mongol invasion, and the Greek invasion. And
you
and
invade us, we Persianize you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, so you want to respond to these?
Some of my friends joke that they Persianized me because after having such a disproportionate amount of Iranians in my life and also living with a few, like there are some habits that I've picked up that now I can't get rid of. Mostly with the shoes inside. I see shoes inside now and I lose my mind. Absolutely lose my mind. It's actually it's to the point where I'm like, I think it's batshit insane now. Because that's such a red line. Ash gave a super chat saying they are all Iranic peoples. The name Azerbaijan itself is a variation of the Persian word Azar Peyagan. Azeris are rather Turkish speaking rather than the Turkic people that came from Middle Asia. They continued
That's
saying
what I'm saying.
some Azeris may identify as Turks, but they may be affected by the ultra-nationalist sentiments of pan-Turkism. There are also many Azeris who identify as full-fledged Iranians. Some I know personally. Exactly. So like that's that difference.
No, Ash, you're completely wrong. Okay, you like think some Azeris who identify as full-fledged Iranians. I think you say that as if somebody cannot be Turk and Iranian.
Yeah.
I completely disagree with Ash. There's no contradiction between being a Turk and Iranian. One of them is an ethnic identity, one of them is a national identity. Azeris are Turks. They are Turks. Azeris are just a subcategory of Turks. Every single Azeri is Turk, right? So I completely. The reason why Ash is saying that is because he's an Iranian who doesn't want to accept that Iran has not just Persians. Iran has Arabs, Persians, Turks, Kurds, Bakhtiyari, Baluchis. Iranian Turks are Turk and Iranian at the same time. So no, Ash, you're completely wrong about this.
Wow, Ash, you're gonna
Thank you for
take
the
that
support.
accusation? You're gonna take that sitting down? No, I'm kidding. Sid gave a super chat saying Mongols are also mixed with Chinese, Koreans, and Russians. We're all mixed up. Okay, guys, let's be honest. We're all mixed up. We just have different accessories. Sid Dave
Wait.
give another super.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Ash is clarifying. Say, yeah, I agree. They can be Turks and Iranian. That's what I'm saying too. Well, no, because you said that they are Azeris, not Turk, but they are Turk. Anyways.
And right on time, our local Turk gives a super chat. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, Erican, for the super chat. Saying, don't say Azeri and Azerbaijan. You will be mistaken for saying Agzil Eri or crooked mouth in English. Interesting. And lastly, Sid gave a super chat saying Genghis Khan descendants are found among some modern Chinese, Mongols, Iranians, Koreans, Indians, Arabs, and Russians. His descendants ruled all over the world. I mean, he cannot be denied. His presence was felt everywhere. Ash gave another super chat.
No, I just wanted to read.
This is a repeat. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight this again because I want to see if I misunderstood it. No, I completely understood this right. Like you're saying they're not Turkic, they're Turkish speaking. This is the same claim people make about Iranian Arabs because they want to deny that we have Iranian Arabs. They say they're not Arabs, they're just Arab speaking. What do you think an ethnic identity is? Like, do you think that our DNA is that much difference? These are just made up identities. There's no hard line differences between these people. If you speak a language and you have a culture and you identify yourself as an Arab or a Turk, you are a Turk or an Arab. Because you think like me and a Turk or an Arab, you think if you check our DNA, there's going to be that much of a difference? There's not much of a difference. These are just arbitrary lines. These are just all made up. It's all nonsense. So if somebody says they're a Turk, they are a Turk.
And Ash is clarifying again, saying, no, I agree that Iran is full of different ethnicities. Armin, I think you misunderstood me. Well, I think we've clarified.
Yeah, okay. We're clear. Okay. We agree. However, I think that we have to accept that Iranian Azeris are Turk, especially if they say they're Turk. We cannot be like, no, you're wrong. You're not a Turk. If you speak Turkish, and if your parents identify it as Turkish, and you call yourself Turk, you are a Turk. I'm not going to tell you like, no, you're not a Turk. You're an Azeri. You're a Turk. If you say you're a Turk, you're a Turk. That's what I'm saying.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.